So for the longest time, the idea of seeing myself as being a leader was incredibly challenging for me. So I really didn't see myself as being somebody who could wear that title. And it wasn't until I found myself facing a decision of whether or not to walk away from the organisation or to keep on with it in the face of a whole lot of challenges, that I all of a sudden realised that in doing so I needed to own that, to own the idea of being a leader. So I found myself here in South Africa with both of the co-founders, so there were three of us. Both of the co-founders had both gone off and decided to leave to pursue their own personal and professional development elsewhere. And while still very much involved with the organisation and part of our board and our advisory team, they were ceasing to be involved in a day-to-day way. And it was all of a sudden left to me to take this and run with it, with no money in the bank, with no team, with no offices, and to keep making it a reality. And up until that moment, I really wouldn't have thought of myself as being a leader, but in facing that challenge and deciding to keep on, it forced me to actually become the leader that I could be. So the thing for me that I think is most important that I do on a habitual basis is touching base with my team. The people that I work with within NCARE, as well as like the extended network of volunteers and supporters and mentors that we have, are so integral in actually making NCARE happen that for me, actually getting to spend time with them and to engage with them energizes me. And so it's a matter of making a point of spending time or making time to engage with the people who are sort of either part of the day-to-day team, and so just touching base with them and finding out what's going on in their world, what's inspiring them, what's challenging them. In 2010, we came up with this amazing new training program for the volunteers who go out and become role models and facilitators for our programs. And I was so excited by it. I thought that it was the solution to all of our problems with our volunteer retention, and was going to really upskill them and give them something really valuable, and it was a total failure. And being able to just turn around and say, okay, cool, so what did we learn? Well, this and 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 this. Like the things that we got wrong far outweighed the things that we got right. And so being able to take all of those things and then apply them to redesigning the program in its entirety, so much so that it totally isn't even recognisable as what it started out as. Just one example of many. When I first came to South Africa, it was not because I wanted to. I totally had no inclination to be here in this country. And the only reason why I came was because I found myself in a situation where it was going to be a stepping stone to the thing that I wanted to do that would have the most impact. I wanted to go and work for the UN on climate change in Bangladesh, but I didn't get the job. And so I found myself in South Africa. And it was meant to be just for 6 months. And in that 6 months, we came up with the idea for what is now NCARE. And during that 6 months, as we were preparing to run the very first ever NCARE program, I reapplied for the job that I hadn't got 6 months earlier. And on the last day of the first ever program that we ran, I got a phone call saying that I'd gotten the job. And so I found myself faced with this amazing opportunity, and yet it was also a massive dilemma. I could choose my dream job, the one that I'd been striving for however long, or I could choose to stay in South Africa, the country that I'd fallen in love with, and take a huge risk to set up an organisation that we could see, even after the first implementation, had huge potential for impact. And at the end of the day, it was a no-brainer, because I looked at the situation and decided that that was the best way that I could have impact. So the thing that I get most excited about with young people is seeing them realise that they're not going to inherit this world, that they can actually shape it now. I think we get told so often that young people are future leaders, they're tomorrow's leaders. And yet, I mean, if you look at Africa alone, I think it's 62% of people on the African continent are under the age of 25. So to think that they are the future is incredibly outdated at best. And so seeing that moment where young people realise that actually, no, let's do something today, I think is the most inspiring thing. I think we need to be sharing more and more stories about young people taking action. I think that we need to be creating a new narrative around young people and their role in society. And so my message to young people would be, go out there, take action, and let's spread the word.